guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Optibotimus coming to you with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Combiner Wars Leader Class Ultra Magnus. Now for the package, as you can see, you got the nice Transformers text over here with the Generations logo. Got a cool image of Ultra Magnus here with Combiner Wars. And then you can see his little accessory up here is the Ambus Minimus, which I have no idea who that is. I know it has something to do with the IDW comics. I have no clue, but it's kind of weird how he's got like this little, like Burt Reynolds sort of mustache right there. You come around here to the back, you got both his robot mode, vehicle mode, as well as Ambus Minimus and the amount of steps that it takes to transform him. And then it says, the legend of Ultra Magnus is exceeded only by the legend of Optimus Prime. When Ultra Magnus was lost, the forces of justice would not let a warrior of his caliber fall. Minimus Ambus, using the power of his rare load bearer spark, enabled Ultra Magnus to fight on. So it sounds like this dude brought him back to life or something. I have no idea, but I do know that the Takara version, which obviously will have a much better paint job, has Ambus Minimus being repainted into the Alpha Trion, which, you know, I'm not too big on that whole thing, because, I mean, Alpha Trion should not be this little tiny dude. But for the packaging, there you have him. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Ultra Magnus opened up and out of its packaging. And as you can see, he nicely resembles his G1 self, but has some updated parts to him, obviously, that doesn't necessarily keep with that same kind of aesthetic. But there's no question who this guy is, and I think Hasbro did a really great job with it. Now, one thing that I will say is, he is pretty small. It definitely is in terms of vehicle form, much smaller vehicle than I would like. Especially when you take into consideration just how small that the front cab section is. Now, using a side swipe from the RID, I know it's not part of the Generation line or anything, but it's a pretty standard side for a deluxe vehicle. You can see just how small that the cab section looks. It's not too terribly bad, and honestly, he's going to stay in robot mode more than being in vehicle mode here, so it doesn't really bother me all that much. You can take, well, you got Ambus Minimus right here. You can take them and you can put that there. I mean, you got the little section right there. Come around here to the back. This bit right here can open. You just got some little tabs, and you can have him drive up in there, and you can have him carrying like one car. It really is pretty small. You can see that his weapon store on this side, you do have to put, and I detached this whole section right here, but you do have to put this gun on the left side, because that's the side that, or the right side is where the actual peg is, so you got to put it on the left side there. But there's that, and then here's his other gun. We're going to set those off to the side, but detaching this, you can angle this down, and then you can have this drive up and go to the top section if you really wanted to. I don't know. Personal preference. I think it's kind of corny, but it's nice that they actually included that. You know, it's a nice throwback to the way that the original toy was, and all in all, I think that fans will appreciate that. Get that tucked up in there, and I think that, like I said, fans will appreciate it, and whether or not you use it or not is a whole nother story, but it's still pretty cool. Now, we do have Ambus Minimus, who is this little teeny tiny dude that, I don't know, it's like I said, I don't follow any of the IDW comics, so for me to know who this is, yeah, is a bit of a stretch. Apparently Ultra Magnus dies or something like that. I don't know if I'm giving away spoilers or anything, but I want my camera to stay focused. But apparently this guy's spark can bring back to life others, so he rides around in them. I guess that's the gist of it that I got. You can see he's this little kind of hover car looking thing. As I said, the Takara version will come with a repainted version of this, and will end up looking like Alpha Trion. So that's pretty cool that they do that. To transform him, his legs just rotate down and around like so. The arms here just kind of slide out, and then this whole back section swivels out and then collapses down like that, and you can put his arms out like so. Pretty cool looking, although really strange looking paint sculpt on there. The head does not articulate. The shoulders here are on ball joints, so you got that. The hips are on ball joints, and then he bends here at the knee. And this guy's pretty tiny. I mean, you can see standing up next to him, see if he will actually stand. He doesn't. There we go. You can see he is pretty small, but I think it works pretty good. I do think that I would prefer the Alpha Trion, although honestly, I can't imagine on why the Alphatron would be this small just in general. So yeah, you do have this guy, and like I said, it's a cool touch, and it's a nice throw towards the actual comic books. He doesn't like standing all that well. You gotta angle him a little bit to get him to stand. And again, my table's a little rounded, so it kind of throws things off. But seriously, what the heck is the deal? It's really insane how you gotta bend him all the way forward like that, and whatever. But he's cool, so setting him off to the side. You do have his missile pods right here. These can rotate around and everything, and actually you have to take them off for the transformation. That's a little unfortunate, but I'm just gonna take him off, set him off to the side here. You can take this and you can combine all these. Hey, it's Combiner Wars, right? You can combine all this, and maybe it's supposed to go like that, and you can create a giant hammer for him, because the whole thing with Ultra Magnus having a hammer is still very prevalent, and it's kind of silly because it's just something that the animated one had, and now it's carried over and everybody wants him to have a hammer. So there you got a bit of a hammer thing for him. But vehicle form, really cool. I do dig it. Some nice paint applications here with the silver and the yellow. You got the nice Autobot logo right there in the front, but everything else is kind of molded in the color that it needs to be. So not a lot of paint applications really on them, but it is good to see. You got like the silver going through here along the side. You got the silver for his smokestacks, things like that. So to transform them, we're going to come around here and we're going to separate this, kind of flop this up, get this out of the way. It's very similar to a lot of Ultra Magnus Transformers, except this is actually attached to it. You can't detach that. You can unscrew it if you wanted to, but it is permanently attached, and it's meant to stay attached when you're actually transforming them. So just like I said, flop that up like so. These sections right here, they'll tab or come untabbed, and then just rotate these off to the side, and then they swivel up just like that, kind of leave them along the side there. These legs here, you want to split these. You kind of have to split it to get this section here in the middle to come out. It's kind of a pain, honestly. So kind of wiggle this and separate that. There we go. Wiggle that, separate that, get that kind of lifted up. I'm going to rotate these down. That's going to make his legs, obviously. This section here, then you have to detach this. You got a little section down here that tabs in, so you kind of have to pull this and then rotate this around. And then this little section on the inside here is going to tab in right there. Hopefully you can see that. I've had to lower the exposure and everything on my camera because he's a white figure and I want you guys to be able to see everything. So again, separate that, rotate that. You got this little tab that is going to come into and lock into place just like so. Lift this up. These will tab on the inside here. Do that on this side as well. Tab that in right like so. Come around here. This rotates around and will lock into place right along the back section, and just sit right there. Take the feet. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Leave that out, and then you rotate the feet out just like so. Then bring this in. That locks right up here. You got the little tab, and then you got the notch right there. So bring that out, angle this forward like so, bring that, locks that into place like that. And there you have his feet done. Here's his chest, so we're going to just flop that down. This section rotates down. Get these arms, separate these pieces, keep that truck section up just like that. Rotate these guys down. You're going to angle this up just like so, and then let me angle my camera up. That way you can see everything that I'm doing. So you're going to then take this bit right here, this pulls away, rotates that around, then you bring this down like so. Take this whole section, slide that down, and then if it didn't slide in, just push it all the way forward just like that. Kind of push that all the way down there. These can go up until they click into place. Do that on this side as well. Click into place. These fold out right there. Fold out in accordion upward there. Again, kind of keep his legs straightened just like that. Then this section here, you want to open this. If you can get a fingernail in there, open that like that. Take this top section, this folds back, and then you just pull the head out just like so. Bring this section together, bring this up. You got a little notch here that's going to slot on the side here. Push that in there. It's a little friction joint that holds that all together. and getting him to stand, straightening everything out, positioning him a little bit. There you have Ultra Magnus in his robot mode. And this guy really does look pretty cool. Now, to complete the look, as you can see, I created his hammer thing. So first you need to take this off, and like I said, you do have to do a little bit of parts for me. When you make sure, or when you transform them, this is where the peg is, or the peg hole I should say, for the actual vehicle mode. When you bring this in though, now it's on that side. There's nothing that you can really do about that. That's kind of unfortunate. But, you know, at least it's going right back on there, I guess. But that completes the look for him. And honestly, the guy really is very cool looking. Oh, and then I guess you could separate his two guns. But this guy really does look quite nice. Now, one thing that I'm a little bit iffy about are the way that his legs are. Honestly, when you have his feet up like this, it kind of limits his heel on the back here. So he has a tendency to want to lean back. He's a very kind of top heavy figure, and well, specifically back here you got a lot of weight going here, so you can see it kind of wants to lean back. You can mitigate that by putting this more in the back like so, and that makes the front of his feet look a little bit strange, but it kind of gives him a better stability, but it kind of also makes it look like he doesn't have toes unless you're looking at it from the front. So I guess it's personal preference, but I really wish they would have done it where you could have this and then had a section that would fold out here on the bottom, because as it is, it just makes him a little bit wobbly, and I'm not a real big fan of that. So that's one issue that I have. The other issue that I think I have primarily is in his articulation. Not that it's bad or anything, it's just how that it's actually designed. So showing off the range of motion first, his head looks left and right. I'll touch on this here in a little bit, because you got the Minimus Ambus that does go in there. The shoulders do rotate all the way around, and they move in and out. This section here, I like this actually, that you can flex that up and you can move that out. That looks weird to me. I don't know. What do you guys think? If you think that looks weird, let me know in the comments below. But I think it looks weird, especially since this stays straight up and down. So when you have it like this, it kind of looks like his elbows are bowing out. It's weird to me. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. I'm not a big fan of it, but you guys may like it. He does rotate right above the elbow as well. The hands are actually articulated just at the main knuckle right there, which helps him hold his weapons, which can be a pain in the butt a little bit. Mostly this one, I think it is. This doesn't like being held in his hands. It's a big gun, and I don't think the hands really grip it all that well. It's fairly loose, and you can see that one's pretty loose as well. This one's a little bit tighter, so maybe it's just the looseness of this knuckle right here that causes some of the problems. He doesn't have any waist articulation, which kind of is unfortunate. I think that they could have put some right here to get him to rotate around. I don't see why they couldn't have, but they didn't. He's got fairly solid ratchet joints that move forward and back, and then slightly softer ones moving in and out. But again, the spacing for it means he's either standing straight like this, which doesn't look bad, or one notch out gets him kind of standing real spread out, and it's weird, but it's really not all that bad, especially here, and you can kind of flex it out a little bit to spread him without actually using that notch section, so that's pretty good. But he rotates at the upper part of the thigh, has nice ratchet joints here at the knee, and then the feet have a forward and back pivot, nothing side to side, which is kind of unfortunate, because again, it'd be cool if you could take this and then bend that so you got a cool look going for him. But all in all, I think he looks great, and you can see some real good detail coming through here with his chest. You can see that these are the getting this out of the way, these are just his headlights. So bringing that in, I mean, that nicely fills in and gives some added color to his chest. I really dig that. You got the nice Autobot logo there. You got some silver-ish blue paint right there. Now, as part of his gimmick, you got Minimus Ambus, who honestly really does remind me of my Cronus Prime, and that might be where I put this guy in my display, since I don't really know who Minimus Ambus is, and I do know who my Cronus is. That might actually work for me. I kind of like that. So you guys know that I like taking the existing characters and using them as my display for my original 13, so that might work. So we're gonna lift this up, not pull that up, lift that up, and then this opens just like so. And what's cool is it kind of looks like there's a seat in there. Coming in to see that, you can see that there's two sections here where his legs would go. You got the seat section, his butt sits right there, and then he's actually got two little handles on the inside there. So what you do is kind of lift the arms up, get him out of the way, and then you bring him in and just wedge him in just like so, push him all the way back, and then you can line up the underside of his hands to grab hold of those little notches. It's not the easiest thing to do, but fiddling with it some, that's what you're left with. Like I said, really cool that they actually did that. And then you will close this back up like so, bring this section up, and then this just comes down and covers the head of actually Minimus Ambus. So you do still have that range of motion. It still rotates, but that's kind of how they're having him pilot Ultra Magnus himself. And then again, you can put his guns in here. Like I said, this one holds a lot better than his other one. So, I mean, that is a really, really cool looking figure. I really dig the way that he looks. He has a very cool updated look, and utilizing some new elements such as Minimus Ambus really pays homage to a lot of those other forms of media that he's in. And honestly, I think that they did a great job with this. I really, really do. He's very clean and very cool looking. Now, the Takara one will release and give a more, I guess, the toy accurate look. I don't know. The blue color is darker, I think. So you basically have a toy look for Ultra Magnus and then a cartoon look for Ultra Magnus based on the G1 toy and G1 cartoon. So whatever your personal preference is, you know, kind of really doesn't matter. All in all, I think that this guy really is great, and if you can't afford that Takara one, this is one that I would absolutely pick up. Now, for a size comparison, here he is. And here's Leader Class Megatron. And as you can see, Megatron is a little bit taller, not by much, just a hair. But these are the new Leader Class figures, guys. It's kind of what they're going for. And then for a deluxe figure, here's Alpha Bravo. So you get an idea of what the scaling is with these new Combiner War figures. Now to transform them back again, we're going to remove these bits, take those off. We just going to set those off to the side for now. This section here, we're going to swivel this out just like so. Do that on this side as well. Bring that down, collapse that down, and then you can take these and extend those all the way down just like so. When you get it out of the package, it does look a little weird. They are bent all the way down like that, so you do have to make sure you extend them all the way up, so don't freak out when you look at the package and see them looking goofy. I mean, this already does kind of look goofy. Take the head, rotate that back. You're going to bring this section down. You do have to take Minimus Ambus out. You can't leave him in there, obviously, because as you can see, when you take him out, the head goes into the cavity where he was trying to sit. So bringing that back together like so, just kind of leave that dangling down, bring this section up like so, and you can rotate this, and then you got two little tabs here and here that are going to peg onto the underside here, so that locks that into place. Pull it away from the body and then extend it up just like so. That way it gives you the full range of motion going on with it. Then take this section, rotate this down. This, you want to keep this all lined up perfectly. Rotate this around. We're just going to spin these around and get these out of the way for now. These legs, come down here, detach this, detach that, come around here to the back section, swivel these out, do that on both sides, and then take the feet, collapse these up, and they fit perfectly right inside the cavity on the inside of his thigh, or his shin right there. So just put that in there perfectly, lines up very nice. Then take this section, get this out of the way. You want to detach this from the side, so again, pull away and then rotate this down, pull it all the way down to the bottom, lock that into place right there. Do that on this side as well. Rotates around, make sure you clear that little bit and then line that up, put that in just like so. Then bring these up, and it's a little bit easier to do this one at a time, so bring this up and kind of fit that chest piece along the gap right there with the foot. So bring that up, do that there, and then when you do it, then you can kind of squeeze and pull everything together. Kind of leave these down if you want to. Rotate these, bring these in, tab that there, do that on this side as well. If that's not lined up properly, then you probably didn't line it up right down here. So just adjust it a little bit, make sure that it's flush. Then you can bring these two sections together like so. Squeeze that. Keep these together like that. And then you're going to squeeze those together. Rotate that all the way around like so. Make sure you adjust the little rotation on it. Then bring that in. Bring that in. You got the little notches right there. This just goes up. You can push these all the way in, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, you can get it locked in right on the inside there, but if you want to keep it where you're able to rotate that down, just don't even bother attaching that. So there's that. Then we take these, peg these right there on the side, rotate that around, peg that in. Well, where's the hole? There we go. Peg that in right there, just like so. Take Minimus, going to extend his back section up, bring this down. You got a little notch that kind of sticks out on the side here that when you bring it down, it lines up with the inside of his forearm. So you lock that into place just like so. Rotate this around, bring that together, and there you got Minimus Ambus transformed. You can set him there if you want. You can put these guns, like I said, on here. I'm not going to store them there. I think it looks silly, but there you have Ultra Magnus back in his truck mode. And honestly, this guy really is very impressive. These new leader class figures, looking at Megatron, Ultra Magnus, that Jetfire, all have been really well done pieces. I know a lot of collectors basically decided to get rid of their City Commander, which has sat in their display for a long time as their classic representation of Ultra Magnus. For me, I got rid of that a long time ago, but I could absolutely see if I still had that, this easily replacing that. I'm really very impressed to see how they were able to take and incorporate all the aspects of Ultra Magnus in one figure. Much like they did with the Masterpiece figure, having the cab section actually being a part of it really is pretty cool. Instead of just having a separate Optimus Prime that's white kind of fit on the armor, I think they did a great job, and it's a real big credit to them and their design process to be able to give us a figure like this. Vehicle mode, obviously, without a doubt, is Ultra Magnus. It really does look like him, and I think that they did a great job of taking a lot of homages and throwing it in this figure while still able to update him to make him look kind of modern and everything. I really think that they did a terrific job here, including Minimus Ambus here, who, like I said, I'm going to use as Micronus Prime. I think that's a great touch that really gives a nice nod to those IDW fans out there. So all in all, really quite impressive. Transformation, what's amazing is it utilizes a lot of very similar kind of components that we've gotten before with like the Masterpiece figure and even the G1 figure. Yet they were able to update it and make it very relevant. I think they did a wonderful job. It's very simple, but really does hit on all cylinders. And then robot mode, the only thing that I really don't particularly like are the way that the arms kind of bend for the outward motion. I just think it looks weird, but that's a very minor complaint. I think all in all, it's still a terrific looking figure. The robot mode comes together very nicely. And again, regardless if you use this as Minimus Ambus or something else, kind of looks like it could be Hot Rod too, the way that the little fins are, but regardless how you use that, that option is actually there for you, which is just terrific. So if this is a guy that you are interested in picking up, he is very slowly starting to hit retail, or as always, there's Big Bad Toy Store. So all you have to do is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS where you can pick this up and add them to your collection today. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that you can keep in touch with me by liking my Facebook page at facebook.com/TeamBotimus and by following me over on Twitter at twitter.com/Optibotimus. Also, I'd encourage you to check out my website at optibotimusreviews.com, where you can see all my videos from the previous week, see what I have coming up for future release, and also get your very own Optibotimus t-shirt. And don't forget to check out Sabertron.com for all of your Transformer news, as well as photo galleries on this and other Transformer figures. And finally, I'd also really appreciate it, guys, that if you like this review, don't forget to please like and comment, and be sure to subscribe so that you never miss a future review. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.
Autobots, transform and roll out!
Class dismissed.